Hello and welcome to the Empowered Women's Project, a podcast and community made by women for women to help you live your best life and reconnect you back to the things that really matter. Today we are joined by personal trainer, raw food nutritionist and raw food chef Teneille McPherson, and she's sharing with us just what we can be doing to get more whole foods into our body and learning around the power of whole food healing. It is absolutely fascinating. This is going to be just one of many interviews I know we have with Teneille. She has so much knowledge to share with us. But regardless of where you're at in your health journey, whether you are a mama and you've got fussy eaters, or you're looking just to increase and improve your level of health and vitality right now, you're definitely going to get some amazing takeaways. Let's jump right in. Hey everyone, I'm super excited today to have the amazing Teneille McPherson joining us to share her wisdom around the power of whole foods. Teneille's background initially was actually as a PT, but she learned over time just the difference between being fit and healthy and that building that vitality in the body. So she is actually now a raw food nutritionist and a raw food chef, a super mama as well, and is here to share her story and how we can start implementing some of these amazing lessons that she has to share with us into our own lives as well. So thanks for jumping on, Teneille.
Thank you. Exciting. Thank you so much.
So maybe let's start from the beginning. For you, what was your childhood like? What was your maybe approach or belief around health? And, and how did you now come to be focusing on what you are now?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So growing up, my family, I've always been into fitness, going to the gym, staying healthy. But that was more going into the fitness industry.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up going to the gym, doing great workouts. And that's where I went into becoming a personal trainer, boxing instructor. I love my body combat. And it was definitely a passion of mine. I loved helping people create that extra fitness in life and, encourage them to do things they can't usually do, and just seeing that achievement in people. And then with my own journey going on, I was very fit when I, obviously was training and things like that. And then some health things happened where I kind of went, okay, this might not be exactly what I've got to do for health and vitality and long term, Then I had my daughter, and I was like, okay, there's a clear difference between fitness and health. And that's where I went in after my own health challenges and journey to then study whole food medicine and raw food nutrition and giving the body the ability to heal, which is so important. So, as much as I grew up with fitness and health in mind, it certainly has become much more important now, and a greater understanding as to how to help the body heal and thrive in everyday life.
Amazing. And I guess a question, because some people, when they receive a diagnosis or they're told that they have a particular health challenge, probably whole food isn't their first port of call. They think about, all right, well, the medical system, and, the medical system is amazing. I know for myself, my husband, Anthony, he would have died had it not been for the emergency care system. He had meningococcal, and so it absolutely saved his life. But what we know about a lot of health conditions is they are lifestyle related. So what had you choose to delve into that versus kind of take a medication, or, what was the catalyst for that for you?
Yeah, but look, to be honest, it just didn't feel right. It just didn't sit right for me. And you're saying to you, I love our emergency services and that medical industry part. But there was a part of me that when I don't want to be taking something that my body doesn't recognize. It's a toxin. There's side effects to it. There's effects to taking something, and it just didn't sit right. And that's where I kind of went, what would my grandparents do if this was the case? What would my great-grandparents do? And just go, that actually makes more sense. So over the time, allowing, we go on to a little bit shortly about whole foods, which I fell in love with whole food signatures, but coming back to health principles that we should be doing every day, getting out and having sunshine, getting the vitamin D and boosting our immune system, breathing. I think we're living in such a high-paced lifestyle that we actually need to stop and just breathe from the stomach, not shallow breathing, eating good whole foods, fruit and vegetables, and raising the vibrational energy of us, having good nutrition. And the word nutrition comes from the process of light. So when we're raising our vibrational energy, we're just allowing more light to come into our body. Breathing, as I said, moving our body in a way that feels good. When I was a PT, I loved go hard or go home. Like, it was hardcore training. I loved fighting. It was a big thing in me. But now I'm like, does my body need that? Actually, you know what? I love hot yoga. I love the benefits what it brings, and actually in this whole thing, keeping it simple, and I was just listening to my body, just listening to the intuition. The cells of your body are vibrating, going, hello, hello, alert, So I basically, long story short, it's just listening to my body, what feels right. And I know that when I'm eating particular foods, that my body recognizes it and understands what it needs to do with it. So, with my health journey, it just made sense to use these health principles and protocols versus taking a medication, yeah.
Awesome. And I love what you said. What would our grandparents do? I know for me, I was blessed to grow up on a farm. So my pop had a big veggie patch, and when we wanted to get something for our lunchbox, we could go pick a mandarin or something off the tree, and having those beautiful veggies really accessible. But I guess, in the world we live in today, you mentioned living by some principles that, everyone can take on board. Because I think for a lot of people listening in, I would say majority of our listeners are women, a lot of mamas. And so what are some principles that you've learned in your studies that we can all start to implement, that isn't this big long list of to-dos, because we all have a lot of stuff on our list, but what can we do to actually make it a part of our lifestyle? I'd love you to share more about that.
Yeah, awesome. And I'll share that with you. But first, I heard one of my favorite sayings from Hippocrates: let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food.
I love that.
And exactly. And it's just like, just takes out the fuzz from everything. It's just, okay, that feels good. So, in the mornings, in relation to a routine and things like that feels good. When you wake up in the morning, it's like watching a cat or a dog when they wake up. First thing they do is they breathe and they stretch, and they get to move their body, and they're doing cat-cow, so poses just becomes innate to them. So doing those things, getting oxygen into the body, and in the morning, drinking a big glass, I would suggest a litre of lemon water. So when we're sleeping, it's like little elves come into our body, in our liver, and they're bringing together the toxins and pathogens and all that kind of yuck stuff overnight. And when we wake up in the morning, we need to be helping and assisting our liver and our kidneys and our body to help move that out. And lemon is one of the only foods that is anionic, which is going to help alkaline the body and help flush toxins out. So if that's the only thing that you can take from today's podcast is drink lots of water and lemon every single morning, that is an amazing healthy upgrade. Like, it is so powerful.
Can we get specific? How much, if I was to have a litre of water, how much lemon would I put? Am I squeezing lemon? Am I cutting into slices and just kind of putting it in that bottle and drinking it? What do we do?
Yeah, cool. Great question. For now, I squeeze a whole entire lemon. And I've got actually a lemon squeezer. You can get them from any shop for like $5 or $10. It's so much easier. Cut it in half, put it in there, juice comes straight out. If you've got to get used to it, if you've got to put a couple of slices in there to get over time, as long as you're having the water increase to that, then that's amazing too. But right now, I'm having between 1 to 2 lemons, and I've worked up to that as well, with taste. But it's an amazing flush out the toxins and, absolutely cleanse to your body.
So taking out all the toxins from what our bodies worked on the night before while we've been resting.
Exactly, especially the liver. You want to love your liver. It's one of the organs that is responsible for so much, and it's the most forgiving organ. Like literally, we can really have a party on alcohol, high fat foods, really abuse it. Emotionally, our liver's feeling everything. If we're feeling upset, there's acids that are happening in our stomach, and our liver's like just trying to produce everything, but it's forgiving. So I think too, it's really important is that our bodies have the innate ability and intelligence to heal. We just need to give it the right tools. And I truly believe, and what I've understood and learned from some amazing teachers on my time, is that lemon is such an incredible healer and help alkalize the body and allow the liver to take a break for a bit and help produce the bile and things like that. So lemon water is amazing. Another thing we do, we love our celery juice. It's basically helping alkalize the body again, killing off viruses and pathogens and things like that in the body. It's like just helping drain all your tubes, everything. You think your arteries, veins, all your organs in your body. It's just helping flush, all those, viruses and pathogens and things like that in. And then we get to the fun part. We love our smoothies. Like, especially my daughter, she's now 12. And she would have been about 6 when we really started on this journey. And, it's so cool with a child to be able to chuck in so many veggies in a smoothie and hide it. And even for us adults, do you know what I mean? Like, could you seriously sit there and eat 3 cups of kale and spinach? Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly, right? Where you can put that in a smoothie, put in a couple of frozen bananas, which are amazing for your body. Some dates. We're using Wholefoods to heal the body and putting it in with some coconut water, some great electrolytes, put some raspberries, blueberries in there. I also sneak some coriander in there as well. I know you're probably thinking like, what? But coriander is amazing. It's going to help remove the heavy metals from the body in a really safe space as well when you're combining it with banana and blueberries and things like that as well. So and I just love that I can put that in a glass, we halve it between my daughter and I, and she's got an amazing smoothie morning. But that's definitely one of our protocols that we love. And I know that in the morning that we're giving our body an incredible way to start the day. We're reducing inflammation in the body. Number one, so important. We're helping cleanse and detox the body, especially our liver after sitting, and doing its magic overnight, and just allowing and assisting it to do its thing. And, I guess being nutritious and delicious, really. Flooding your body with great nutrition, but it's seriously so yummy at the same time. We could stay on for hours talking about smoothies, and what you can put in the body, but that is an amazing way to start the day, moving and getting in sunshine.
That's great. And I have a question around, with our body using our sleep time to really cleanse and repair and heal our system. Can you explain to me, some people, the busy mama out there, it's just like, oh my gosh, they're either go, go, go. They start their day with a coffee, or it's a crust of someone's toast as they're running out the door. I know I'm not a coffee person, but I definitely used to have the kids' leftovers. But what's the benefit in extending the time before we actually start eating in the day? Like, obviously the lemon water is helping flush our system, and a smoothie is great too. But can you share a little bit about the benefits? Because I love this information.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, really keeping it simple. The longer time that you're not eating is giving the liver more time to cleanse, detox, to do its thing as a machine. It's clicking over. As soon as you eat, it's stopping that phase. So it's having to now not do cleansing and detoxing, as I said, using little elves overnight to come in and create and dust up everything, you know, into one little rubbish pile, so to speak. Now it's stopped doing that, you know, sweeping and dusting and getting in one pile. It's now having to go, oh, I've got to change tunes now. We're going to change it the reverse way, and we're going to have to start helping digest the body, you know, digest the food that the now body's, you know, taking on as well. And, you know, it's really important too not to have fats until a little bit later on the day, because you want to help the liver cleanse, detox, you know, purify everything, you know, before it has to then go into, you know, breaking down the fats and things like that. And fats are amazing, like your avocados, your nut butters, your coconut oil and things like that we're eating. But just help your liver, you know, and that's what I had to learn, is just to help my liver do what it needs to do, you know, to help heal, you know. And, you know, long story short, last year I had broken my ankle and chipped a piece of bone, and the doctor said, you're going to have surgery on this. And I kind of went, oh man, like you're talking to the wrong person here. So I kind of went into mass study to what I'd learnt, and just basically went, okay, I want to use foods that are going to help heal my body, help heal my bones to what it needs to be. And, you know, it was about helping reduce inflammation using celery, which is an amazing food signature for the bones. It's got the same amount of sodium. You know, our celery and our bones have the same amount of sodium. It's an amazing alignment there. You know, it's working in synergy. So basically, using those protocols helped heal that as well. So over that time, I didn't have to have surgery, which I'm super grateful for. Wow. You know, and which is pretty powerful. By the time I went into, you know, would have had to have gone to surgery, that time I would have had to have off, would have been exactly the same amount of time that I've had to really focus on my nutrition and use these protocols that we're just speaking about, you know, allowing the liver to, you know, detox, to do its thing, but also now go into, I'm going to help the bones and the ankle actually heal. You know, it's a healing hierarchy of whole foods. They are just incredible. So using that. So it's really important. The liver is so powerful. We're talking about bones, but helping the liver so then it can now focus its energy on helping heal.
Amazing. And so you mentioned something before around nutrition, or the root meaning of that means the process of light. And the more foods, you know, we can have closer to the sun, the more energy, you know, that it's giving, not just calories. It's the difference between calories, but that energy to help heal and function. Obviously, the world we live in right now, and we're talking to people at lots of different stages in their health journey, where it's really easy to fill our bellies with food that fill our belly, but it's not necessarily full of life and light. There's, you know, processed foods, and, you know, there's an endless supply of numbers and preservatives and things that, you know, are happening in our world right now. Where do we start? What are some simple things we could maybe start to switch out or upgrade with maybe some of our habits that can help get more life into our plate every single day, particularly for families, because that's where there can be a little bit of, you know, resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think too, as a parent, it's monkey see, monkey do. We need to take charge. And I know for my daughter, I need to be making the change first. And instead of asking her, what do you want to eat or what do you feel like, I'm literally cutting up the watermelon, putting on a plate. And I tell you what, even when she's got friends over, they're like, oh my God, watermelon. They love it. You know, just putting fresh fruit and vegetables in front of them, and as an adult as well, and making food look good. You know, little thing at Christmas time when we went over to people's gatherings and things like that, we had the watermelon triangles, but then we cut the base so it looked like a Christmas tree. And I tell you what, there's like this massive buffet of food, and the watermelon was generally one of the first things to go.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, little kebab sticks, just, I think, most importantly, when we're talking about kids, is just making it fun. You can make the snowman with a red hat on top, or Santa, or things like that at Christmas time, and Easter's coming up. There's so many different things you can do. Birthdays that come up, you can just decorate things. If you didn't want to have a birthday cake as such, you can do some really cool things with watermelon and fruit, and you can make some really cool alternatives for desserts. One of our things is a raw food bounty slice, so using whole foods in a raw food bounty instead of buying your crappy chocolate and all that kind of stuff. And it's so easy to make. So I think keeping it simple is just making it appetizing, having fun with it. And we're all, as mums, and dads, wearing busy hats all the time. And I think it's really important when you're dealing with kids and in the kitchen to take all the hats off and just focus on what's in front of you at the time. And when you're talking about preparing food, don't argue in the kitchen around food, because there's a cellular energy that happens and the food's right in front of you. Dr. Emoto Masaru, I can't remember his actual name, but Japanese philosopher, amazing. You can YouTube, about going on with that. There's a great rice experiment you can do. So if you are on school holidays, that is an incredible experiment. But coming back to keeping that lesson in mind, that when you're dealing with food, that you want to be having a high energy, fun and healthy. So having kids in the kitchen, preparing food, get them helping you in the kitchen, making a smoothie. Get them in the kitchen, chopping fruits and vegetables and things like that, or a stir fry. And I think the kids they're smart. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we're teaching them from a very young age, why are we putting in celery into the stir fry? Why are we putting in spinach into the stir fry? And allowing them to understand it, they're going to want to eat it more.
Yeah. Well, let's just go more into that, because, I know for me going through high school, we got taught the food pyramid and all the things that we should have. And we kind of know that that's not really created for health. So when I first learned about food signatures, I was like blown away. So I would love you to share with us just some of the things around how food actually can heal, how it's known to be connected to certain ways of healing the body, because this just blew my mind. Can you share? I know the big kids and the little kids are going to be stoked about this.
Absolutely. And same as you, Kate, when I heard this, it sparked something inside me that, as I said to you before, something just didn't feel right taking other things, but this just felt right. And it's exciting. So one of the ones I love, so every fruit or vegetable that you pick up has an energy around it and is going to match towards the healing that it needs for a particular organ of the body, or going to help it thrive as well. And one that I really love, and I'll share a few with you, but one I love is the avocado. And if you cut it in half, it looks like a womb, looks like the uterus, and it takes 9 months from flower of avocado to ripening. It takes 9 months, and it's exactly the same food signature.
That's amazing.
It is, and it's so, I was like, oh my God, and just appreciate everything you cut and open up, and you open up the avocado and actually look at the seed and look at the outside and go, oh my God, it just looks like it, And so that's fascinating. I love that. As I said to you before, celery is a food signature for bones, It snaps like a bone. It looks like a bone. It's got the same amount of sodium as a bone. So when you're putting it in a juice or a smoothie or in a stir fry, just sharing and having fun in the kitchen with the kids about this, is so important. And I do it with Charlotte as well. I'll run around after her with a stick of celery, it's important. Potatoes, I think people, sometimes they give potatoes such a bad rap.
Carbs, right? We don't want to have too many carbs, so skip the potatoes.
Exactly. And I think we gotta skip the mentality of all the additional stuff you put on top of potato, you know, that's not cool. But the potato itself is an incredible healer. It's amazing as a mono meal as well. And I know for people who have had even like food poisoning and things like that, you know, it's incredible. It's got L-lysine in it, which helps even knocks out viruses and pathogens in the body. You know, so and it's such a neutral taste. So after you've been over the sickness, having potatoes as a mono meal is incredible to help that as well.
So if people aren't well, when you say mono meal, just one food, like one, so just having potato for a period of time just to kind of help your body ease back out of being unwell.
Exactly, that's right. So all your body has to recognize is just that one food just to help digest as well. It's not having to deal with everything else and just being kind to your body, most importantly. So potatoes are amazing for that.
And what about peeling the skin off? Like, you know, a lot of people that are using the fruits and veg, they just peel the stuff off. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, well, most of the nutrition is in the seeds, the core, the skin. You know, leave the skin on. Obviously, wash it really well. You know, I've actually got a potato scrubber and a celery scrubber in the kitchen, just dedicated to scrubbing off, you know, all the dirt and you know, if you're not buying organic, making sure you are scrubbing it really well and rinsing it well. Yeah. But absolutely, keeping the skin on is where the nutrition is. And I'll tell you what, if you're baking potato, just putting it on a baking paper in the oven, it's so yummy. You know, get it out and there's so many things you can do with baked potato. You put some red beans on and some guacamole and salads and stuff like that. An amazing plant-based meal that your body recognizes and understands, most importantly. Yeah.
My mouth is watering so bad right now. Right now, as you're talking about potatoes, I'm thinking about salt, because if I have sweet potatoes or potatoes, I love having some salt on them. A lot of us have been told that salt is bad. Can you kind of talk a little bit into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we don't have salt in the body needs salt, and it's going to get it from somewhere, and of course, it's going to go get it from your bones. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to have salt, but good salt. There's salt and there's salt. You know, there's white table salt that is on the table that it's been bleached and it's got just stuff in it you don't want to have in your body. But if you're going to rich minerals, you know, your pink Himalayan salt, your Celtic salt, that stuff your body loves and recognizes, you know, everything in moderation. It doesn't matter what it is, but putting that on it, and if that's going to help, you know, flavor your food to help you eat, you know, better, absolutely. You know, you've got your minerals in salt that are important, and electrolytes as well. Yeah.
Amazing. And what are some of the benefits of having, like, with you being a raw food nutritionist and chef, do you eat 100% raw all the time, or what are some of the benefits of us having more raw foods on our dinner plate each day?
Yeah, great question. And no, I don't do it 100% all the time. Absolutely. However, I know many really, really good friends that are completely raw vegan, and everything of them just shines and radiates. You know, you've got healthy vegans and non-healthy vegans. You know, you've just really got to, again, come down to these health principles of what we're sharing today. Yeah. But what I do know is when my body isn't feeling the best, when I have an injury like my ankle or lower back, or I'm just not feeling well, it's the first thing I go to. I go back into raw vegan over that time, and to raw food. So basically, I think people need to understand how powerful it is to flood your body with good nutrition and fruits and veggies. And because over that time, I'm reducing the inflammation, I'm increasing my immune system, I'm allowing and helping my organs to do its absolute best to help everything else in my body. And I know that after 2 to 3 days after going raw, I just feel better. I'm radiating. I can get out of bed in the morning. I feel good. My mood's better, you know, because obviously we're having great nutrition, process of light. We're wanting to get out and about, you know, your emotions are better as well. You're in control of that. and your family's happy too because you're happy. So yeah,
that makes sense. And I think, you know, for everyone listening, everyone's going to have maybe 1 or 2 steps they can take from where they are right now. It's not like saying everyone needs to go raw vegan, but
yeah,
I know even in my family, we can be putting way more colors on our plate
yeah.
and having, you know, more things that are alive, or even not cooking as much, you know, keeping things nice and crunchy if we're doing a stir fry or something like that. So I love that. That's awesome. Can you maybe share a little bit? And there's so much knowledge from you. I feel like we've got 3 interviews in with all the things that you've got at least. And I actually, one thing, can we please get that recipe for the chocolate bounty? We might share it with everyone because that sounds amazing.
Absolutely. It is everyone loves it. When I do my raw food cooking classes, it's one of the last things we do, and everyone's sitting there like, oh my gosh, they just love it. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of comments at the end after I've done a cooking class as well, as people like, we've just eaten so much, but they feel so good. They're not in this food coma where they're just, oh my gosh. They're feeling really good. They're not feeling bloated. They're feeling energetic. They're feeling satiated. They've had all these amazing flavors. And the Choc Bounty slice, literally, people are like, oh my gosh, you know, they're just loving it. So I will definitely give you the recipe for that.
Okay, I'm good. That's exciting. So when people make a change, or say, for example, they want to do a cleanse, a juice fast or something like that, sometimes we label symptoms like headaches or body aches and things like that as bad. We're like, oh, I did a cleanse, or I started eating like this, and then I got headachy or tired or whatever it might be. Can you explain why that happens and around the symptoms?
Yeah, absolutely. I love juice fasting. It's one of my favorite things. You know, and everyone reacts to it differently. Some people go on juice fasts and feel automatically amazing. Other people go into a detox phase, which is what those symptoms you're just talking about. You know, they feel headachy, they feel, you know, a little bit stiff in the joints. And I just say, bring it on. You know, in that time, your body is doing amazing things. And if you just, if people understand that, I think that embrace everything, it's not something to be fearful of at all. That's most important. And it's just embracing and understanding that your body is so intelligent and it's doing exactly what it needs to do. You know, so when you're feeling stiff in the joints, a bit headachy, that's just your body just detoxing. So I would be going back into helping your body. So it might be grabbing more lemon water. You might need more sunshine and just go for a walk and actually just breathe. Just focus on breathing and getting sunshine. Or do you know what? You might just need to hibernate for a bit and go for a sleep. You know, and just listening to your body, most importantly, and just communicate that with your family, you know, so you're not being barked at by everyone and just going, hey guys, I just need 2 hours to whatever, you know. And I think communication is really important with your family when you're going through that time as well, just so they can help and honor you as well during that journey. So, you know, those phases are only temporary. They're not going to stick around, and just to understand if they can just go through those few things and just break through the other end of that cycle to where your body's supposed to feel. And I think sometimes we actually don't know what health actually feels like and what our bodies are supposed to feel like, you know. And I, as I said, whenever I go back into raw vegan at that time, I go, oh, this is it. This is how your body's supposed to feel, you know, energetic and vibrant and, you know, moving well and living well and feeling well and emotionally as well. It's so important because it's all connected, mind, body, and spirit. You know, so absolutely, it's a good phase, but just getting through the other side and just honoring yourself and just taking time out and loving yourself, self-love.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think we do live in a world where it is so fast-paced that we often don't give ourselves the time, or we try and do a cleanse while we're doing everything else, and we're not creating that space just to rest and slow down, which our body's kind of telling us to do that. So no, that makes complete sense. I have so many more questions, but you've added so much value today just around things that we can start to do more of, having more of those whole foods. We see some recipes that we can start to do to make some shifts from maybe some sugary or processed foods that we're having to actually then nourishing the body and learning about food signatures as well. maybe besides, you mentioned the lemon water starting our day, is there one other habit we can leave our listeners with today that would be a great thing to start to implement for themselves and their families moving forward for their vitality?
Absolutely. I think having more fruit. Don't be scared of having fruit. There's a lot of fruit fears out there, and our body needs that glucose to help drive and transport the nutrients into our cells. So I think that if you can have an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. It truly does. It's like the queen of all fruits. So I think if you can incorporate an apple into your day, again, have fun with it. You've got kids around, chop it up into fun shapes. Make it look good and feel good. So I think an apple a day, if you can incorporate that, absolutely. Watermelon. So don't be scared of fruit. Use it. There's amazing vitamins and minerals in there that your body and your blood just loves. So that's what I would love to end it on. Yeah.
Excellent. I saw a photo a little while back of, we look at some bottles of labels and the breakdown of the vitamin this and that, in a product, but an apple has like thousands of phytonutrients and all these good guys that we don't know half of the benefits that they have for us, but just getting that the enzymes and all that goodness into our system as well. So amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I have to do it again. Great chat.
Yes, definitely lots more, I think, to share. I'd love to hear your insights around in the future podcast, just around different ways that we can cleanse our body. Some of us have the ability to take time out, others don't. And so they are trying to do it as well as life and kids and work and all of those things, and diving more into those food signatures and the ability for the body to heal. So thank you again for joining us. For those people that want to learn more about you and what you're up to, where can we find out more?
So obviously social media, we're connected majorly on social media. So come and find us there. Where we find the Empowered Women's Project. And also on my Instagram and Facebook page, Synergy Health and Lifestyle Movement as well. So we're kind of plastered all over social media. So
I love it. Excellent. Well, we'll pop the links into the show notes as well. And thanks again, Teneille. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wow, so much gold shared by Teneille today, and I just love learning more about the power of whole foods and how we can use them to heal ourselves. I know for me it so sits with my values and beliefs around the body, and just knowing that if we just slow down and take the time to give our body a chance to heal, that we can help heal it naturally as well. So don't forget to follow through on some of the things that Teneille has mentioned. Start your day with a liter of water, put some lemon juice into that, start alkalizing your body. Try and have more time where you're not eating, give your body that chance to actually be resting and cleaning and doing all of its good work versus just digesting the food that we're putting in us, and look to be eating more foods closer to the sun as well. So can't wait to have Teneille on a future podcast. Looking forward to hearing your feedback as well. And as always, if you want to learn more about the Empowered Women's Project and how we're empowering women to live their best life, not just in one area, but in all areas of life, you can go across to empoweredwomensproject.com or check us out in our social media handles as well. Have an incredible day, and we look forward to speaking with you soon on a future podcast.